The streets of Chicago are never quiet, power shifts in the dark, alliances break overnight, and one decision can change everything. And now, one of the most shocking moments is about to unfold. Tommy Egan places a gun in Mireya's hand. It isn't just a weapon, it's a key that could unlock her strength, or open the door to her destruction. Tommy has always been a man who trusts very few. His world is built on betrayal, blood, and the constant threat of enemies waiting for him to slip. When he gives Mireya a gun, it doesn't come across as a random gesture or a simple move to protect her. It feels like a test of loyalty, courage, and survival. Mireya is not from the same cut as the killers and hustlers who surround Tommy. She comes from a life where she has tried to stay clear of her brother, Miguel's bloody empire. Yet here she is, standing face to face with a choice she never thought she would have to make. This act is not about Tommy showing affection, it's about survival. Tommy knows the enemies are circling. He knows anyone close to him instantly becomes a target. By putting that gun in Mireya's hand, he is silently telling her that innocence is no longer an option. If she stays near him, she has to be ready to fight back. It's a chilling reminder that in Tommy's world, protection doesn't come from hiding, it comes from being armed, ready, and willing to pull the trigger when the time comes. The weight of the moment doesn't lie in the gun itself. It lies in what the gun represents. For Tommy, it's trust. He's saying, I believe you won't betray me. And I believe you can handle this life. For Mireya, it's the beginning of a transformation. She has always been caught in the shadow of Miguel, forced to live between her family's criminal ties and her personal dreams of staying clean. But with this gun in her hand, that balance tips. Now she has to ask herself, what side of the line will she stand on? This is more than just a personal choice. It has the power to reshape alliances. If Mireya takes that gun and truly accepts it, she steps into Tommy's world as more than a lover, she becomes an accomplice. And that changes everything. Miguel has always been protective of his sister, but protective in his own twisted, controlling way. If he discovers that Tommy has armed her, it will not just be a betrayal in his eyes, it will be war. And in the middle of that war stands Mireya, caught between her blood and her heart. But this is exactly why Tommy does what he does. He has always believed that power is not given, it is taken. By giving Mireya the weapon, he is pushing her to take control of her own fate. No more waiting for Miguel to decide her future. No more standing on the sidelines while the men around her dictate how she should live. With that gun, Tommy is telling her step up, or step out. And if Mireya steps up, the game in Chicago will never be the same again. Mireya's hands tighten around the cold steel. And in that single moment, the weight of her entire life seems to shift. This is not a purse or a set of keys. It is a weapon that carries consequences she cannot ignore. For years she has been the sister who kept her distance, the one who tried to live outside of Miguel's bloody reputation. People whispered about her family name, but she always carried herself with grace, trying to separate her identity from the storm that followed her brother. And yet, no matter how far she tried to step away, the storm always found her. Now, by taking the gun from Tommy, she realizes the storm is no longer chasing her, it has already swallowed her whole. Tommy is no fool. He knows this isn't just about defending Mireya. It's about drawing a line in the sand. He wants to see whether she will shrink under the pressure or rise to meet it. Tommy has always had an instinct for spotting strength in people, sometimes even before they see it in themselves. He saw it in Ghost. He saw it in Liliana. Now, he sees a spark of it in Mireya. That's why he places the gun in her hand, not because she asked for it, not because she begged to be part of his world, but because he knows sooner or later she will have to choose. And when that moment comes, she cannot freeze. The reality of Tommy's world is that there are no sidelines. Once you're in for life. Mireya feels that truth sink into her chest. She imagines Miguel's reaction if he were to catch her with the weapon. The fury in his eyes, the sense of betrayal that would burn hotter than fire. To Miguel, family loyalty is absolute, and siding with Tommy, arming herself through him would be the ultimate betrayal. Yet at the same time, she feels something new bubbling inside her. It isn't just fear, it's a sense of control, of power, of finally having a say in her fate. For the first time, she isn't just Miguel's little sister or Tommy's love interest. She is a woman holding the means to protect herself. And that changes everything. Tommy watches her carefully. He doesn't say much because he doesn't need to. His silence is louder than any speech. The message is simple. If you're with me, you must be ready to fight. He knows what this decision could cost her, and maybe even cost him. But Tommy has never been one to hold back when it comes to survival. To him, arming Mireya is not an act of kindness. It is strategy. Because if she is by his side, she cannot be weak. Weakness gets people killed. Weakness turns loved ones into liabilities. And Tommy Egan refuses to carry dead weight. Mireya's mind spins with questions. Will she ever be able to look at herself the same way again? Can she still claim she is not part of this life when the evidence is cold and heavy in her palm? She wonders if taking the gun means she is officially part of Tommy's empire, or if it simply means she has traded one cage for another, Miguel's control for Tommy's. Yet deep down, she knows the truth. This is the first time the choice feels like hers. She could walk away, throw the gun back, demand to stay out, or she could grip it tighter, accept the unspoken pact, and step into the darkness that has always circled her family. The streets of Chicago won't give her time to hesitate. Enemies are multiplying, alliances are breaking, and every second counts. Mireya doesn't fully understand it yet, but Tommy's move is as much about preparing her as it is about preparing himself. He is about to wage war on Miguel, on rivals, on anyone who dares cross him, and when the bullets start flying, Tommy knows there won't be enough time to protect everyone. Mireya has to be able to protect herself. This moment, small as it may look to an outsider, is the seed of something much bigger. Mireya is no longer a bystander. She is no longer just the woman caught between two powerful men. She is now a piece on the board, and whether she likes it or not, she has just been moved into play. Every choice she makes from here will echo through the war that's coming. And in Tommy's world, the only question that matters is simple. When the time comes, will she pull the trigger? The moment Mireya accepts that gun, even if she hasn't spoken a word, the city begins to change around her. Chicago is a place where actions echo louder than intentions, and Tommy knows better than anyone how quickly whispers spread. It won't take long before people notice a shift, and every rival, every crew, every set of eyes on the street will start asking the same question. What role is Mireya playing now? This is where danger begins to sharpen its teeth, because the game doesn't forgive new players, it tests them, breaks them, and sometimes swallows them whole. Tommy, for all his recklessness, has always had a clear instinct for survival. He arms Mireya, not because he wants her to be a soldier, but because he knows the war is already at their doorstep. Miguel's network runs deep, and the moment he suspects Tommy has touched his sister's life in a way that crosses the line, blood will follow. Tommy isn't blind to this. He has already played this type of chess before, moving pieces, making sacrifices, testing who is ready to stand by him when fire rains down. Mireya is now one of those pieces, but she isn't a pawn. She could be a queen. And Tommy, in his twisted logic, believes the only way to protect her is to push her into the fire early, to force her to adapt before it's too late. But what Tommy doesn't see, or maybe chooses to ignore, is the dangerous crack forming between him and Miguel. Family loyalty is everything to Miguel, even if he shows it in the most violent, suffocating ways. To him, Mireya is sacred. She is the one part of his life he tries to shield, even as he drags everyone else into bloodshed. If he discovers she's holding Tommy's gun, Miguel won't see it as protection, he'll see it as seduction, as a betrayal that cannot be undone. The streets will not be enough to contain his rage, and what begins as a private conflict between two men could ignite into a city-wide war. Meanwhile, Mireya feels the shift in herself. She walks differently now, the weight of the weapon invisible to most, but impossible for her to forget. She starts to imagine scenarios in her head, a shadow following her home, a car pulling up too slowly, a stranger's hand reaching out in the dark, and each time, she sees herself pulling the trigger, ending the threat before it ends her. This is how the streets change people, not with one dramatic event, but with small rehearsals of violence that play over and over in the mind until they feel like destiny. Mireya may not realize it yet, but she is rehearsing for a future she once swore she'd never touch. Tommy thrives in chaos. He always has. But Mireya is different. She has carried hope inside her for years, the hope that maybe she could be the one who stays clean, who builds a life untouched by the sins of the family name. That hope is now fading, replaced with a harsh reality. In Chicago, survival isn't earned by innocence. It's earned by power, and power only respects those who can wield it. The foreshadowing here is brutal. If Mireya embraces the weapon, if she truly takes Tommy's path, she risks losing herself before Miguel even has the chance to punish her. And if she hesitates, if she falters at the wrong moment, Tommy's enemies will use her weakness as the perfect opening to strike at him. Either way, the stakes rise higher than ever. Every move she makes from now on will drag her deeper into a life she never asked for. Tommy might believe he's building an ally, someone strong enough to survive by his side, but the truth is far darker. He might be creating the very wedge that destroys everything. Because in this war, loyalty is tested in blood, and once Mireya chooses, There will be no way back, not for her, not for Tommy, and not for Miguel. The gun in Mireya's hand is more than a weapon, it's a countdown. Every tick echoes louder in her mind as the world around her closes in. Tommy may think he's giving her power, but what he's really given her is a doorway. On one side, a chance at control, survival, and standing on her own terms. On the other side, betrayal, bloodshed, and the wrath of Miguel. The cruel truth is that both sides demand sacrifice. And whichever path she chooses, there will be no peace. The streets are restless. Whispers spread faster than bullets, and already, people are talking. Mireya isn't the quiet sister in the shadows anymore. She's in the game now, whether she admits it or not. That shift alone makes her a target. Tommy knows this, which is why he watches her with sharp eyes. Calculating, always a step ahead, always wondering if she rise to the challenge or collapse under the weight of it all. To him, arming her is preparation. To the world outside, it's provocation. And to Miguel, it will feel like war. Because when Miguel finds out, and he will, it won't be a simple confrontation. It will be explosive. His pride, his control, his very identity is tied to protecting his sister from the dirt he swims in. To discover that she's carrying Tommy's gun will cut deeper than any rival bullet. It won't matter if Mireya claims it's for protection, or if Tommy insists it's survival. Miguel will see only betrayal. And when betrayal strikes a man like Miguel, it doesn't end with arguments, it ends with graves. But Mireya is not as fragile as they think. The more she holds the gun, the more she begins to see the truth of her own life. For so long, she has lived under Miguel's shadow, suffocated by his rules, defined by his choices. Tommy offering her a weapon is dangerous, yes, but it's also the first time someone has told her she has the power to decide for herself. That thought lingers in her heart. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't about choosing Tommy over Miguel. Maybe it's about choosing herself over both of them. That spark of independence could either make her stronger, or seal her doom. The foreshadowing is everywhere. The streets are preparing for a storm. Every decision Tommy makes is another domino falling, and Mireya is now part of that chain reaction. Will she fire the gun to protect Tommy, shocking even herself? Will Miguel catch her with it, and unleash a war that pulls the city into chaos? Or will she turn the weapon on someone neither brother expects, proving that she is not a pawn, but a player of her own making? Each path feels possible, each outcome dangerous. And that's the beauty of the moment, it keeps everyone guessing. Tommy doesn't deal in half measures. By giving Mireya the gun, he's bound her fate to his. She can't step back into innocence, not after this. She can't pretend she doesn't know the cost of this life. She's been marked now not by blood, not yet, but by choice. And in this world, choice is everything. The decision to pull the trigger or to freeze, to protect or to betray, will define not just her future but the future of everyone standing near her. The closing truth is brutal. When Tommy puts a gun in your hand, you are no longer an outsider. You are a soldier, a target, and a threat all at once. For Mireya, the question isn't whether she will use it. The question is who will stand on the other side of her aim when the moment comes. Tommy, Miguel, a rival crew, or perhaps herself, trapped in a destiny she never wanted. The possibilities are endless. But one thing is certain, the price of survival in Chicago is blood. And Mireya has just taken the first step toward paying it. And so, the stage is set. A war is coming. Alliances will break. Families will burn. And love will be tested in ways it has never been before. The city won't wait for Mireya to decide. The city will force her hand. And when that trigger is finally pulled, nothing and no one will ever be the same again.